All right. Next story of the day with 3,782 digs, submitted by Just Jen SF. Update from Jay.
Yes.
Got some news after 5 years, 40 million users, and an amazing ride. I've decided to step down as CEO of Digg.
So interesting. Who's the new acting CEO of Digg?
I am, for the time being.
What?
It's crazy. It's crazy because Digg launched in November of 2004.
Correct.
And it was myself, Owen, who was the first developer on Digg, and Ron Gordetsky, who was the sysadmin. And Jay was my friend all along this entire time. I'd known Jay for probably about
since the screensavers, right?
Yeah,
Didn't you go
probably
interview
about
him?
a year before, 6 months or a year before launching Digg. And then about 3 or 4 months into it, like we were starting to really take off. And there was problems with like, I spent all my own personal funds into Digg, and I had a friend that wanted to give me a check for $50,000, and I asked Jay. He was like kind of like an advisor. I'm like, hey, should I take this check? Which I do, because he had started a previous company, Equinix, which is a multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah, that does backbone stuff.
It does backbone stuff on the internet, and he basically came in, and I said, dude, I need a CEO. I need you to run this. This is my first time doing this kind of stuff. So. Jay,
I mean, that was 5 years ago?
Yeah, 5 years ago. So, I mean, I really, more than anything else, just want to thank Jay for all of his hard work, because we really wouldn't have done it without him. Like, I would have made a bunch of wrong decisions, and all of the bits of information that he's provided me.
And honestly, not only Digg.com, but Revision 3 as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, he was CEO of both companies for a while, and that was not an easy feat. You know what I mean?
No doubt. So, I mean, thank you, Jay. I'm excited to see what he's going to be working on next, because I know he's got crazy ideas and a lot of cool stuff coming. So that'll be interesting to follow him and his ride throughout that stuff. You can follow him at Jay Adelson on Twitter. But at the same time, I'm also excited to get in and make sure Digg starts kicking some major ass.
So what happened? What are some of your first things? I mean, a couple announcements were made today.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So I talked about the fact that I'm killing the iframe Digg bar.
Yes.
And so there were some people that said. The majority of responses so far have been like, oh yes, kill it, blah blah, it's bad for the internet. But my reasoning behind it is that it breaks a lot of things. Like when you talk about when you draw an iframe on top of a piece of content, that iframe has no way to communicate with the other frame beneath it. So if people start like they would click out on a Digg story, get the iframe, start browsing around the net, that bottom frame would be changing, and at the same time the Digg count and everything else at the top of the iframe was still there, and it didn't know that had changed, so nothing would happen there. And people were bookmarking that, and then it would take them back to the original story versus that site that they were on. It was just really messing with people. And then also the frame busters, like New York Times, a bunch of sites that bust out of frames, they just create a broken experience. So when you click through on a story, all of a sudden the frame just disappears, and you're like, whoa, I normally have the frame, why is it gone?
Yeah, right.
It just, when you talk about, I'm absolutely committed to make sure it's as easy as possible to dig stories on third-party sites. We do that through browser extensions today. Those extensions are going to get better and cooler and slicker. We got a whole revamp I'm going to be working on for that stuff. But that's not through an iframe. The future of the internet and digging on remote sites is not through an iframe that doesn't know how to communicate. That's just like, it's a broken future. So why keep an old product sitting there that you know you're going to kill?
Chocolate-loving Kit Kat future.
Right, exactly. No one wants a Kit Kat world.
No one wants that.
If they're going to sponsor, we apologize, and we love Kit Kats.
Dude, we love Kit Kats if you want to sponsor.
But so anyway, long story short about the product stuff.
I'm really excited about it.
I'm really, I was doing a lot of angel investing stuff there for a while, so I was off doing that, helping other entrepreneurs. I'm excited to be back in at Digg, like full time, like heads down, and trying to create, the next version of Digg, next products we do, from iPad apps to iPhone apps to really creating some compelling stuff. So we'll see.
I have to say right now, the next 6 months are going to be crazy.
No doubt.
For all the stuff that we're doing, the next 6 months are going to be crazy. Stuff down the pipe that's just going to be, big ass pipes, just big ass pipes. It's going to be crazy.
No doubt.
Love it.
Between the two of us, we got some crazy shit to announce.
Crazy shit to announce in the next little bit. What up, internet?
Little teaser.
Actually, nothing was teased except how cool it's going to be. All right, let's get to the next story. Speaking of